Now it's saying that I'm muted here. Anybody hear me? Give me a thumbs up there. Somebody was saying that they couldn't hear for some reason. Well, it says I'm unmuted here, so hopefully we got some audio. It looks like there's audio on my end here. Let me just double check here. Looks like it's using my audio. I should have audio there. Maybe it could have been my headset. Let me double check that my audio's right here. One second. Let me see here. Technology, right? Got to make sure that folks can hear me out there. I want to just have a video with. All right, here we go. It looks like folks are letting me know that the audio is good. Hopefully, they can hear me now. It's like that commercial, right? Can you hear me now? All right. It looks like we're back in business here. Well, I apologize for that. Hopefully that's given some more folks time to tune in here. And I was just saying that what we like to do here in the middle of the week for Wellness Wednesdays is kind of let go of the stress. Right? Maybe you've had a stressful day or a stressful week, and here you've maybe you've been engaged by the post that said that we want to practice a pause and look at our own self-care and our well-being. And I'm glad that you've tuned in. Like I said, I apologize for the audio issues, but it looks like it's all fixed now. So let's go ahead and begin with staying true to the name. And how we like to do that here with practicing the pause is a breathing technique, a breathing exercise. Maybe you've done that before, maybe you haven't done that. But what we like to do is to find a nice, quiet place, free from distractions. And as I was saying, I like to create an environment where I can get in and I can relax. It's calming. And how I like to do that is I light a candle. I'll pour some tea that kind of helps with stress. I found some teas that really seem to help with anxiety and stress. And so, I drink the tea from time to time. That kind of helps me to relax and to settle, to let go. Our weeks can be full of stress, and we need a time where we can let some of that stress go. And I like doing this on Wednesdays because it's in the middle of the week, and we can just set this hour here to look at our own self care and our own well being. It's vital and important to do, not only for health but for emotional reasons and mental reasons. It affects our whole life. And so when we can set out a time, intentionally set out a time where we can practice our self care and well being, it's got a rippling effect. It can affect all different areas of our life, and this is what well being looks at. And we'll look at a little more at that today about these different areas, these dimensions of our life that well being play a huge, vital part. And so right now, I invite you to look for a quiet place that you can get into a quiet place and that you can free yourself from distractions. That means you can turn off your phone or put it on mute, silence, whatever that's going to be a distraction. That you try to silence all those distractions. You be free from distractions. It might be closing your door. It might be telling somebody, in another room that, hey, I'm going to take an hour out for myself to practice wellness and to learn about wellness. And so I invite you to sit up tall. Maybe you get in a chair. Maybe you're in a comfortable chair. You're in a comfortable place, and you can sit up tall, and that you free yourself from distractions. And I want to invite you to breathe here. A lot of times we don't even think about breathing, but here we want to be intentional and mindful of our breath. And so I invite you to breathe slowly here with me. We do that. We want to just settle ourselves, quiet ourselves down, then begin to breathe here. And we want to be mindful of our breath. So as we're breathing in, we want to be mindful of the breath that we breathe in. And then be mindful of your exhale, letting go that stress and that worry, those obligations, the things that can wait. Right now, we want to practice our self-care, and I invite you to do that. Breathing in, being mindful of your breath. Breathe in slowly, deeply, and then let go. Be mindful of your exhale. Mindful of your inhale, breathing in, and then exhale, breathing out. Stay focused on your breath. Stay focused on your breath. That's what we want to do with this breathing exercise. We want to stay focused on our breath. So maybe you had a lot of things going on, right? You had a lot of stress. Your day has just been chaotic. Right now, we want to just be mindful of our breath. It's going to help with all that just by breathing, by being mindful of the breath, the in breath and the out breath. Before I've described it when I was doing meditation, I continue to breathe in of an ocean, right? If you've visited the beach, you went to the ocean, you see the waves coming in and then the waves going out. Think of your breath. If you can even hear the sounds of an ocean, right? As it comes in, the waves come in, the tide goes out. You can be mindful of that, and then think about with your breathing. It's a circular effect there with your breathing in, and then release the exhale, the out breath out. And you can even hear that ocean in your mind. Think of the ocean. I've been in meditation where they play, the ocean sounds. Here I've got some quiet meditative music in the background. But right now we just want to be focused on our breath. So continue to breathe in slowly in the in breath, and then with the out breath, release some of that stress. It's even okay to, as you're breathing out, to make a noise or so, just that release. Breathe in, and then let go. And so we want to do this slowly, in and out. And then you want to let your energy settle by anchoring your attention to the breath. That's what we're doing now, is focusing on our breath. You maybe felt some that tense, you felt some tension in your shoulders and your arms. You kind of want to just let that fall by the wayside there. You want to just soften your shoulders. Maybe it's good just to move your shoulders around. Where maybe you work in a job where you're sitting down all the time. It's good to move those muscles. It's good to move around. We're meant to move around. So you might just start by just moving your shoulders back and forth. Just loosen your shoulders up. Hopefully get some of that tension out, and don't do it too fast, right? Just go ahead and do it slow, a little bit back and forth. Maybe you want to even do it with your neck there. Slowly moving your neck from side to side. Like I said, don't do it too fast. You might hurt yourself. Don't do it too fast here. Just slow movements. And continue to focus on your breath. All right, the in breath and the out breath. So soften your shoulders, and then, as you're sitting up straight, maybe you want to even soften your belly and your thighs. And then watch your breath. As you're breathing in and out, watch your breath with a sense of loving awe. Often I say that we're human beings and not human doings. All right, so we want to be mindful. We want to be mindful and even, have this watching our breath. We want to be watching our breath with a sense of loving awe, to breathe in and breathe out. I want you to feel the gentle rise and fall of the body as you're breathing in and out. Some folks will put your hand on your chest or even your belly, right? So you're really feeling the air moving in and out. You're going to feel your gentle rise and fall of the body. And if you place your hand there on the belly, you really begin to feel that. I even help you be mindful of your breath, right? So you have one hand there on your belly there, and you're really feeling this air in and out. And as you're doing that, maybe you want to close your eyes. And, like I said, I've mentioned that I've got a candle here. So even that aromatherapy, I love using these candles that, especially like lavender or something that will even help, with stress as well. So maybe when you're closing your eyes and you're breathing, maybe you'll start picking up with some of these other senses. Really hone into your environment there. But I want you to, as you're breathing in and out, I want you to feel this gentle rise and fall of the body as the body breathes itself. And I want you to let yourself drop into this state of being, right, rather than doing. Like I said, we're human beings, not human doings. And so I just want you to be right here in the present, mindful of your breath, right here, right now, just present with the breath. And as you watch the breath, of course, your thoughts are going to rise, right? That's why it's important to keep on refocusing on the breath, because as we do this, as we're getting to the state of being, our minds are going to wander. The mind is energy and it's always at play. And so today, as we're doing this breathing exercise, I just want you to notice these thoughts. Notice as they come and go. Watch them as from a distance. And I've used the example of watching, dead leaves going down a stream. We're just going to watch our thoughts, watch them as they come and go, and refocus back on your breath. When you see that your mind's wandering, maybe you're losing attention, you're losing focus, right, of your breath, go back to your breath. It'll help you with this mindfulness, being mindful of the breath. Go back to your breath as you might have some of these thoughts come, and just watch them as a distance. You're not your thoughts, but the witness of these thoughts. And so it can help to visualize your thoughts, either as dead leaves or going down a stream or clouds or even bubbles. And so as a thought arises, it floats up and into our awareness. And then if left alone, it'll float on by, right? So don't build a story around your thought, like, oh, you know what, I've got to do this, and then let's say I've got to do this errand or this chore, and you start building a story around it. Don't do that, right? You just want to recognize that thought, recognize it's there, and let it float on by, dissipate or burst. Come back to your breath. Stay anchored to your breath as you play with awareness of this process. You want to be present with your breath. But you're aware of these thought clouds or thought bubbles that arise. And like clouds, like bubbles, understand that these thoughts are not solid. They're not fixed, right? They'll float on by. They take shape and they break apart, just like a cloud or a bubble. They're continuously changing shape, blown by the wind. They come and go. We cannot grasp at a cloud or a bubble. And neither is there any point in grasping into these thoughts. So just let them be. Just come back to your breath. Always coming back to our breath. We want to be mindful of our breath. We want to remain aware of the breath as the thoughts do their thing. And so avoid chasing, following, or attaching to the thought, or building a story or a narrative. Avoid trying to stop the thoughts or push them away. So many think that meditation, this breathing exercise, being mindful of the breath, meditation is about not having any thoughts, about not thinking. No, it's not about that. Thoughts are going to come, but we want to focus back on our breath. The inhale and the exhale. All right, so we don't want to try not to think, right? Those thoughts are going to come, but just avoid chasing them, following or attaching to the thought. Avoid trying to stop thoughts and push them away. Remain aware of the breath, aware of the state of being and not doing, aware of the thoughts, but not thinking. So let's refocus on our breath. Back to your breath. Breathe in and then breathe out. And practice lovingly, allowing your thoughts to shift, to change, and to flow. Nothing to fight against. Nothing to stop. Love your thoughts, and at the same time, let them go. And remain present right here, right now, with your breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Recall that you are not your thoughts, but their witness. Look upon each thought with curiosity or awe. But again and again, anchor back to the breath. Breathe awareness, present with breath. Mind is energy, and energy is always at play. It's up to you to choose which type of energy you'd like to invite in. And so I invite you to allow the positive energy to come in. And that's what we do That's why I try to focus on here with Pause with Phil, is to take this intentional time for your own self-care and to practice your own well-being and to let the stress go. Let it all go from the day. Let go of those thoughts of do, and this, and this. But just be here present with your breath. Lovingly watch your breath and simply let the rest go. Breathe in and breathe out. Identify with the energy of stability, even breath, steadiness, peacefulness, and ease. And I hope that you are feeling better as I am, as wellness can really have its effect on us when we're mindful, just a simple thing to just taking a little bit of time out for ourselves. You might have noticed that some of that stress, anxiety, and worry, and some of those things has dissipated. You feel a lot more relaxed and comfortable. I hope that you're in a good place now. Because what we like to do now is to move forward a little bit and really look at what wellness is. Last time we talked about it's creating this healthier life. Do you want to feel better? Do you want to handle stress better? Do you want your relationships better? Do you want things at your job to improve? Wellness can help us with all those different dimensions. And that's what, again, I wanted to look at again today and kind of pick up where we left off. But it's this intentional mindset of creating a healthier life. And that's why each Wellness Wednesday, I invite folks to tune in to practice the pause, to look after their own self-care and well-being. And, at the Recovery Center, which I forgot to do this time, to mention who I am. I'm Philip Boyce. I'm a peer navigator, a peer support specialist there at R3 Recovery Center. And our model is after this is SAMHSA, 8 dimensions of wellness. And I've been trying to go through and explain what these dimensions are and how they can really have an impact of our life. On my recovery journey, I thought it was just going to be putting down the drugs and alcohol, and that's a huge part of it, right? Is you're taking something out of your life, but you have to have something to fill in that void. When I was using substances, that my whole day revolved around how I could get substances and who I was going to be doing it with, and how I could get the money for it. And so when I stopped those things, I needed to change the way I thought and to replace it with healthier habits. And I didn't know how that was going to look at first. I kind of just went off and began exercising. And when I went on this recovery journey, I didn't know that's what my recovery journey was going to look like. With some exercise and with healthier lifestyle and habits. But it's kind of worked out like that because I began getting on this wellness spectrum, and we'll look at that, and that's what SAMHSA's envisions there. This is SAMHSA's wellness initiative that we talked about last time, is that it envisions a future in which people with mental or substance use problems pursue health, happiness, recovery, and a full, satisfying life in the community. And so maybe you're watching that, and maybe you are looking at your own life and realizing that you don't have some of these things. Maybe you're not pursuing the health that you'd like to, or happiness. Maybe you're struggling in recovery, or you don't have this full, satisfying life here that SAMHSA, really wants to envision with people with mental or substance use problems. And so we talked about this a little bit last time, that each individual's path will be different. I talked about last time how some folks might already be eating healthy or might already be exercising some. And perhaps we look at our own life and say, well, I'm really not getting enough exercise, or, I'm really not eating right, or whatever the case may be. And, wellness looks at a lot more than just health, right? A lot of times when folks look at wellness, they just think about health, about exercise and diet, but wellness is so much more. And so, I've really enjoyed researching about wellness and really finding out how much wellness really encompasses. And we'll look at a little bit more of that today. But every aspect of wellness can affect a person's life. working toward all of them in one way or another is a great goal, because wellness relates directly to the quality of a person's life. And so, I really want us to take that in, that wellness looks at the quality of a person's life. And so Samstra offers this guide, this broad approach that we can do at our own pace and our own time and within our own abilities, that can help us feel better and live longer. Like I said, it really looks at the quality of a person's life. So, when we examine our life, and we'll do that some today, and that's why I invited folks to have a pen and paper ready, or a pencil and paper, because last time we didn't have a chance to get to that, but hopefully we can do that today. There's an assignment here. This is me going off and practicing wellness. I like to go out into the woods, into nature, walk around, and that's one aspect about wellness, is when I look at practicing wellness, right? So it might be exercise. I found out when I can encompass more, like getting to the woods, which would be environmental wellness. I'm walking around. It also helps with my mind, right? Just like that breathing exercise that we opened up with. When I get out there in nature, I can breathe and I can get that nature therapy, and it really helps with all the other dimensions of wellness in my life. And that's just, one thing I can do throughout the week, maybe once or twice a week, or whatever my schedule will allow. But I have to intentionally set out to do that, to set that time for myself. And maybe that's something that you are discovering as you're looking at this wellness, that you're not intentionally setting aside a time, except for maybe this class. And if you're here today, I applaud you for that. But, we also have to intentionally set time throughout the week to look at our wellness as well. And so that was me, we talked about here, that each individual path will be different, right? And so as we continue on, we'll look and see what dimensions there could be improved upon with our wellness. And this is a word that we looked at last time, was interdependent, and that just simply means that every aspect of wellness can affect a person's life. And so I just gave the example of me walking in the woods. Well, that's physical wellness. That's one dimension. It also helps with my mental wellness, because when I walk out in the woods, I think clear, I feel better about myself, the emotions are impacted. And so that also can have, impact on spiritual, right? That's another dimension there. And you see these dimensions there on what's called a wellness wheel. This is Samstra's 8 dimensions of wellness. It's a wellness wheel. And we get familiar with these dimensions here as we go along. And you can look at them there. We can name them off as emotional, intellectual wellness, occupational wellness, social wellness, financial wellness, physical wellness, spiritual wellness, environmental wellness. Those are the 8 dimensions there. And so interdependent, all these work together like a wheel there. You can think of the rim of a wheel. All these work together, right? They all work together. Every aspect of wellness can affect a person's life. We'll talk about more of that as we go along. Here they are again, just so you can get more familiar with them. You can see it a little bit better. Emotional, intellectual, occupational, social, financial, physical, spiritual, and environmental. And again, that's the 8 dimensions of wellness that we look at. And that's the goal and the quality of wellness. Remember, it's the quality of life. And working towards all these dimensions is a great goal, because wellness relates directly to the quality of a person's life. And so we see that Samstra's Wellness Initiative, envisions this future in which people with mental or substance use problems pursue health, happiness, recovery, and a full, satisfying life in the community. And I believe by researching wellness and talking about these things will help us to do that. It'll bring it to mind here, and really help us to examine our own life. And it's not like a New Year's resolution. A lot of folks at the beginning of the year, they'll set New Year's resolution. I find that most people, when they set the New Year's resolutions, they set the bar too high, right? So they want to exercise, and before you know it, they're trying to go to the gym, several times a week, and they're trying just to do it too fast and kind of gung ho approach. But really, with wellness, it helps us to do it at our own pace, right? So it's better just to go ahead and make a start. Don't just dive right in and go all out, but to set a pace and time This is a personal approach to wellness. This is up to us. We have to take self responsibility. We are responsible for our own wellness, and so we want to set the pace, and we do it in our own time and within our own ability. But the key thing is to make a start. Right? We got to make a start. How do you walk 10,000 miles? First step, right? First step. And so we really do. We want to set the pace and in our own time with our own abilities. And so wellness talks about that. The first universal law of wellness is the law of what's called esprit, and it means joy, right? So if there's no joy in what I'm doing, right? If I'm not really seeing my quality of life improve and all that, then I really might want to look and see if I am going at my own pace and in my own time and with my own ability. So be mindful of that. We also talk about setting smart goals, and it stands for specific and measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely, right? Smart goals, and so we really want to look at are we setting the bar too high, with what goals we're doing. I've also talked about in the past is it's important to write it down. I think it's 60 to 75%. We're more likely to do something when we write it down. And so I believe in the power of writing, pen to paper or pencil to paper, right? Write it down. We're going to set some goals, make them manageable here. And, there at Recovery Center, we help folks to do that with these smart goals. Be mindful of that as we go along. It's your own pace, your own time, within your own abilities. So what is wellness? Here's another look at it here. We really want to define it. I think it's good. Oops, I had a button there. Let me get back to it. What is wellness? We really want to define it. I want us to get familiar with what we mean by wellness. There's so many books that are out there, and so many self-helps and all this other thing. What is wellness? It's broadly defined here as being healthy in many dimensions of our lives. And we see those dimensions there. We've been naming those 8 dimensions. It's how we live our lives and the joy and fulfillment and health we experience. It's wellness. Oh, it's so cool when we begin learning about this and applying in our own life and seeing how it is interdependent, how it affects every other aspect of these dimensions of our whole being there. Holistic is another word we use. Holistic. It affects the whole person, mind, body, spirit. So this is what wellness we define that as, is being healthy in many dimensions of our lives. It's how we live our lives and the joy and fulfillment and health we experience. We also see how all these are interconnected. And I gave this example last time that if I'm worrying about money, that's my financial dimension, right? Worry is emotional and anxiety is emotional, and that can cause medical problems. It can lead into physical problems, which can mean that I have to be laid out from work, or maybe have disability. I can't go to work, right? We've talked about how stress is really problematic, right? It can affect your heart and you have stroke and all that thing. So we see how our emotions can really affect our physical, and our physical can even lead into what's called occupational dimension. There, if we're having trouble at work, that's occupational dimension. And then, if we have trouble at work, maybe we start questioning life. What's the meaning and purpose of it all? Well, that'll be the spiritual dimension. And then maybe we just seclude and we isolate ourselves. And then, because we're not working, we're not having those connections, we're not getting around other people. That's our social dimension. And then that can lead into other problems, right? If I'm staying secluded in my house, maybe I'm locked up, perhaps, I'm not taking care of the other aspects of my wellness, like eating right? It could be physical, or get my medication, that's physical. And then that can lead into other problems in these other dimensions of my life, which would be, my living situation. You can start hoarding things and not cleaning up and not taking care of yourself. That's, not having a proper environment there. That would be environmental wellness. And so we can see how this can all play out with everything being interconnected. Everything's interdimensional and interconnected with wellness. It can lead into each aspect here. And so what wellness really tries to emphasize, and I'm hitting slides here left and right, what wellness really tries to emphasize is creating balance. That's key, right? That's creating balance is key. It's an important part of wellness. Balance. Do you have balance in your life? Is there one thing that's kind of overriding the other? Well, wellness, when we look at it, when we really start to be mindful of wellness, it can help us to create balance in our life. Balance. It's making sure we have time to do things that make us feel happy and fulfilled. Like I said, a lot of times it has to be uh, 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 intentional, right? We want to set a time to practice self care. We want to make sure that we're taking time out for ourselves, and that could be like a walk in the woods. I just use that as an example, something I have intentionally set time to do, right? We have to be intentionally mindful of our own wellness. This is our responsibility to take care of ourselves and our well being. And so we want to, as we look at wellness, it helps us to discover balance. It's making sure we have time to do the things that make us feel happy and fulfilled. And I continue to say it, you have to be intentional. If you've got a calendar or planner, make sure you write it in there. If not, we're not going to do it. That's the way I am, right? If it's not on my calendar, if it's not written down, I'm going to forget about it. Something else is going to take its place, right? So make sure that you're writing things down here, that we're writing things down. We're intentional to create this balance. And as we begin learning more about wellness, it will really begin to change the way we think, and that's so key. It's we're all unique, we're individuals, and it can take time to rebalance and adjust to make clear habits and routines. We want to create this manageability, and by looking at each of these dimensions here, it can help us to do that. But we've got to be intentional and make these habits and routines. Uh, and as we do that, it'll increase our focus and we'll have more self awareness. And that's what wellness really wants to look at is creating this balance. Balance. Do you have balance in your life? I know sometimes things can just get out of order, can it? Some of these dimensions can just fall all out of whack, and wellness can help us to look at that. We can look at these different dimensions here, and this is an important reminder here to take that first step, like I said, in the steps of 10,000. You got to take that first one, that first step, to lead to that 10,000. So here, I created this slide that says, "Keep on swimming, keep going, keep going. You can do this. You can do this here." And that's why I enjoy teaching, and I believe that this class can be a helpful reminder to these different dimensions here. And I want us to be familiar with those two: physical, social, emotional, some of it. And then, as we get familiar with these, I think it's going to be easier to really examine our whole life there and how we are living. Environmental, let's say, is your environment safe and clean? Emotional, how are your feelings? Or your feelings feel organized? Or you control of those? Physical activity, are you getting physical activity? What about your social there? How's, do you have enough support there? Your social. And so here, each time as we begin with practicing the pause, and it's taking this time. It's taking this time to rest and relax and create this downtime, this rest here. That's so important. We hear about burnout and the impacts of stress, and that's something that I've talked about here in the past about toxic stress. We've talked about that some, and perhaps you missed some of those. You missed some of these that we've done each Wednesday, and you're more curious about it. Well, we've got these videos that are uploaded on YouTube. All you got to do is type in Wilks Recovery Revolution, and you can go back and watch some of these uh, and find out some more about what wellness is. Uh, but here we're looking at the dimensions, and uh, we see that it's important to take this downtime and relax and rest and find the space we need to think through a situation or work through our feelings and just rest. And so uh, we see that with wellness, it's important that you have support, that you're not doing it alone. And that's an emphasis that I try to place here, with teaching these classes is to make sure you have that support, that social dimension is critical. It really is. We're not to do this alone, and that we can find advice and support. And if you are having challenges with mental health or substance abuse or both, we do have peer supports there at the Recovery Center. We're willing to help and do what we can to come alongside you and offer that support. That support's vital. It's needed. And so talking with a peer support specialist, someone that's got lived experience. That's one great things about the Recovery Center there at R3 is, our peer supports have lived experiences. We're not somebody that's just gone to school and got the book knowledge and all that. And even, as that, it can be needed in this field, I see this great benefit of having a peer support specialist with lived experience. And that's so, like I said, it's so great that we have that there at R3, that our peer supports have lived experience. So we go through these things. We battle these things. We have, we've gone through our struggles, and we have our victories, and we celebrate those as well. But here the emphasis is, when we're going through these things, it's important to know that you're not alone. You're not alone. As we talk about wellness, it begins to build our progress and our confidence, and it helps us go along in this journey. And so we're here to help, and I wanted to mention that, and even support groups, right? You can find support in support groups, and we try to link folks up with resources, whatever it could be. Finding that support is vital, I believe, and to have a chance to support others, to have supportive input and a chance to support others, and people who can suggest services or resources. And that's part of what we do there at the Recovery Center. We help folks find those resources that are available and needed, and we can find supportive people in many places, by going into some of these different environments and coming alongside of others, and finding the support. I believe in the finding that support and support from others. Here it's talking about creating routines and habits. Like I said, we got to intentionally put it on our calendar if we're going to do things. At least I do, to make sure that I'm looking after our self-care and wellness, and that's creating these different routines and habits. You can find personal balance and satisfaction with routines and habits. And I've talked with folks in the past, and some likes to have that schedule. It can be very good for our mind, saying, okay, I've got to do this at a certain time, and next I've got to do this, instead of just having too much free time, right? If we know what we're going to be doing, it kind of can guide us through the day. We're not looking, okay, what am I going to do now? What do I got to do next? But you got some routine, you've got some habits that you formed, and often, folks in early recovery, it's good to have to be able to create some of those things. Like I said, we go at our own personal pace and time and all that. So don't try to overwhelm yourself. That's one thing, some good bit of advice that I was given, a suggestion that I was given, is to not to tackle off too much, but do a little bit here at a time, right? Again, like I said, that 10,000 steps starts with the one, right? And so creating these routines and habits is good. Having self-defined routines and habits can offer personal balance and satisfaction. Routine and habit is generally determined by our basic needs, so like nutrition, food, shelter, social affiliation, safety, and the various roles we occupy in society. So our habits affect all different areas, like what we eat, what we wear, how we relate to others, how we go to work, how we spend or save money, and more. And so a lot of times our habits can be ingrained. We get these ingrained habits. Habits become ingrained in us and are often tough to change. For example, we might put ourselves down or feel we need a particular thing or person to get us through a tough spot. But we can learn otherwise. A lot of these habits are ingrained. We've gotten into the habit of doing some of these things where they just become ingrained in our mind, and so it takes work to get out of these different habits and create new habits. Like life on life's terms. If you're in recovery, you might have heard that. Living life on life's terms. That's uh, uh, dealing with life demands and stress, crisis, or trauma that can impact or alter our routines and habits. Uh, and a lot of this can lead to imbalances, that can lead to emotional anxiety and depression, social. You might be cranky or isolated or angry or physical. You could be tired, agitated. Those are imbalances. And so it's important to establish new, healthier habits, establishing new, better habits that support our wellness goals and values, and that can be challenging. Establishing these better habits that support our wellness goals and values can be challenging, but it's worth it. Developing healthier routines and habits in our lives can lead to positive feelings. And that's what I was talking about with me going, exercise and walking in the woods. It can lead to positive feelings. I feel better emotionally, mentally when I do that. My relationships are changed. I can find relationship satisfaction, a social dimension, increased energy. It's kind of odd how it works because you think you go out and you exercise that you feel more tired. That you'd have less energy, but you actually have more. Same thing with your diet. When you eat healthier foods, you have more energy, right? And so wellness really helps us to take a look at those things, and uh, developing these healthier habits can lead to so much positive impacts in our life. Uh, we have increased energy with physical. We can have inspiration, right? Which is emotional. When I began practicing wellness in one aspect of my life, it kind of leads into other ones, and that's very inspirational. I get a lot of satisfaction from that. Uh, and it's a feeling that we can use. We can use our creative talents and skills and abilities, right? When we practice wellness, we've got. It seems like other doors open up where we can get involved in some of these. Maybe there's some skills and stuff that you used to do. Maybe you did art, or you painted, or you drew, or some other type of talents that you have. We begin picking up these activities and these talents again, which that can lead into other dimensions of our life, right? That could lead to maybe possible job opportunities, which is occupational dimension. Maybe you used to read, and maybe you start reading again, or maybe you take classes, right? At the recovery center, we help folks learn new skills. They can go to college there and get certifications and different things. And so, all these different opportunities open up, and that'd be an intellectual dimension, and then spiritual, right? You begin maybe it's the service or making these connections and stuff, whatever that spiritual component looks like for you. There by just establishing these new healthier habits. Wellness goals is something that we look at there too. Wellness goals, uh, and that is something that we look at by evaluation, kind of seeing where we're at on the wellness spectrum by setting these wellness goals. You're the expert, so like I said, this is it's tailor made for you. It's tailor made for you. It puts the ball back into our own court, asking what do you want to do about your life. Do you find the quality of your life is satisfactory? Do you want to improve? Uh, that's what wellness really means to me. Is becoming all that I can be, becoming my best self. Like I said before, I've heard the compliment. I really like who you are becoming. That's really wellness in a nutshell. There. Uh, we might already have some regular practices that what we have that make us feel better. Maybe you are doing some mindful exercises or meditation or yoga. Maybe it's calls to friends, right? You're picking up the phone and you're calling somebody. You've got some of that support there. When you call friends, you feel better. It could even be avoiding the news at night. I know a lot of people that turn off their television. Too much news wasn't good. They turn off the television. They spend less time online. Maybe you've seen some of these things. Man, you can just tell, right, that something's off balance there, and you made some changes. It can, like I said, it can be these mindful exercises that you've implemented to your life, or meditation, or yoga, call to friends, or turn off the news at night, or spending less time online. these changes that we make in our life. You are the expert of yourself. You'll know what will work and what won't work, and in all these dimensions. And so, when in doubt, ask. Well, when you're not sure, you can ask someone and think together about what makes sense and what next steps might work best. And that's what it's so cool about the peer support specialist is you can sit down with somebody and really look at these wellness aspects and say, okay, maybe not sure, and maybe just you just kind of bounce it off somebody, right? Well, what do you think about this? Or maybe I think I need to do this, or what do you think about that? It's so cool. It's so cool. That's peer support involvement there and one-to-one peers. It's amazing how those things just come about. Some things to consider is purposeful activity. Like I said, being intentional. Purpose activity is being active in activities that have purpose. If our daily routine lacks meaning, we can feel distressed or powerless. Wellness activities. It's increasing activities that contribute to our wellness. This could be talking with a friend at the start of the day may help set a good intention or plan for the day. Rest, making sure you've got some rest, getting a good night's rest. Insomnia can noticeably impact social relationships, physical and emotional reactions, productivity, and our ability to concentrate and accomplish tasks. That's one thing we brought up before in the past. How does your sleep look? How are you getting enough rest? Maybe you want to talk about something with that with somebody. If you're not, stimulation, social interaction. We've heard about too much stimulation. Introvert, extrovert. It's got different stimulation needs. Social interaction. Being aware of the right amount of social interaction, it's important to know our limits. Readjusting to circumstances. Remember that time zones or daylight saving time can impact our mood and our routines. Readjusting is normal. So sometimes we have to readjust, right? We have to readjust to, when things come up, when things change. That's okay. Friendly routine. Friendly routine is using a routine. Let's see if this might be on another slide here. Yeah, there we go. Friendly routine is using a routine that works for us. What works for you? You got to find out sometimes by trial and error what works for you. A friendly routine is using a routine that works for us. And so calendars, like I said, I've got to write things down. I've got to be intentional about setting what I'm going to want to do to do it. And so that could be a friendly routine. It's using a routine that works for us. Calendars helps us remember when or how often we want to get things done, such as getting an oil change or clean the refrigerator or celebrating an accomplishment or calling a friend or family member or check our financial records or schedule for an annual physical. It's good to write things down. That's a friendly routine. It's using a routine that works for us. Repetition is also key. Repeating a behavior until it becomes automatic. All right. So, maybe when I first started walking, it might have been a struggle, right? Strain to get out there, tie up the shoes, whatever it is, right? Sometimes it can be challenging to do it, but repetition, you keep doing it, right? You stick with it. You keep swimming. Repeating behavior until it becomes automatic. And that could be even like the example would be like taking medication, right? A checklist helps us make sure that important tasks are not being forgotten. And then embarking on a wellness lifestyle. It's creating a wellness lifestyle, which can be challenging. Creating a wellness lifestyle can be challenging, but finding the right information, supports, and resources, and tracking our progress can help get us there. And that's part of the purpose of this class here is to do that. It's being informed of what a wellness lifestyle looks like, and by giving out the right information, by showing our support there and offering the resources and tracking progress. And by doing those things, it can help us to get there. Wellness is not merely the absence of illness or disease. It's a lifelong process of making decisions to live a more balanced and meaningful life. There are always opportunities for enhancing your wellness. A good way to start is by evaluating your current state and establishing systems to guide you towards a fuller sense of well-being. And so I know we just have a little bit of time here, and so we're probably not going to have enough time once again to do this assessment. But I promise you, here next week we will do it. We will do it. So you still got that pen and paper ready. This is kind of what we're going to be looking at next week. As we'll begin with this is these evaluations, so we can look at our emotional well-being, and we've got some things here, some questions to go through, and so that's going to take a little bit of time to go through these things, but I hope it'll really help you to determine where you are this in these wellness dimensions in life here. We'll look at some of these and we'll evaluate. We'll go from emotional to environmental to intellectual, and I'll ask some questions here. We'll go through these evaluations. So I hope that you'll tune in again next week here, and that you'll have your paper and pencil ready. I was hoping we could get to it again this week, but there's still some information that I wanted to cover. So we'll look at some of these next week here. I'll be looking forward to that, and to really look at our own wellness. And we'll calculate it up there at the end. So I hope that you got a lot out of this time session, that you're beginning to learn a little bit more about wellness is, and what it means, and that you really are wanting to learn more about your own self-care and well-being. Like I said, we'll get to that evaluation next time. And so have your pen and paper ready, and maybe you want to invite somebody. Yeah, maybe you see somebody, maybe a friend or whoever it is, and they could really, enjoy this as well. Maybe you're getting a lot out of it, and you want to invite somebody else to also look at self-care and wellness. And we'll continue to move along with what we're learning here and apply it. It's not just to learn things, but to apply it to our life. And I find when I can learn about these things that it starts taking root. It's there in my mind, and it starts changing the way I think and the way that I do and the activities and things in my life. And wellness kind of does that. So I look forward to sharing some of that with you again next time. And like I said, hopefully you'll join next time again. Wellness on Wellness Wednesdays, practicing the pause from 2 to 3, right here live on Facebook. And if you got any questions, comments, feel free to write us there. You can email me, write me directly there at pboyce@wilksrecoveryrevolution.com. Reach out there to the R3 Recovery Center. Like I said, we have peer support specialists with lived experience that can help you on your journey, whether your challenges are with mental health or substance use, whatever it may be. We're there to help support and walk alongside you. So feel free to reach out to us. Our information is available there. And again, thanks for tuning in and being concerned about your own well-being and self-care. And look forward to it next time. All right. Have a good rest of the day. Bye.